Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The air is crisp, the grills are firing, and the sound of fight songs are echoing all across campuses from coast to coast. For months, we've been counting down the days, talking about predictions, talking about hot takes, but now it's time to trade the speculation for game day Saturday. Saturday is coming, and with it, we have rivals, redemptions, and the roar of the crowd. This weekend, stadiums will shake, legends and seasons will start to take shape. The Big Ten is loaded, the SEC is snarling, and the rest of the country is ready to crash the party. New coaches, fresh faces, and Heisman hopefuls, all stepping onto that field to answer one question. Are you for real? Grab your jersey, fire up the tailgate, and get ready to block off your Saturday because kickoff is almost here and college football is back. We've been counting down all summer, and now the wait is over. So, boys, are we ready to talk about that Saturday's coming? College football is about to kick off. Let's go. Okay, let's start the conversation off with the rankings. We have Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, Miami. Those are the college football rankings top 10. Let's quickly do a debrief on our thoughts of the rankings that came out.
But before we get started with the rankings, we're going to go and point out a special hat that is on the podcast this week. It has been a Clemson hat every single podcast, and now that we're talking about college football, he's a Gamecock. So we see his true colors, and we know who's going to win now, so we can leave that.
I guess I'll go ahead and start off the rankings. I love that Texas is number one. I like Texas a lot this year. Ohio State being 3, coming off a big natty win, but did lose some guys. Clemson, me being a South Carolina fan has nothing to do with this. Clemson being at 4 is absolutely diabolical. Never should have been done. Don't like it at all. Diabolical. For them being 4, no. Heck no. 4th in the world, 4th in the country, no. Everything else I can let fly. Miami, after losing camp, everything's good besides Clemson.
I think it's awesome. Honestly, I love Texas, Ohio State, week 1, big matchup. 2 new quarterbacks. Ohio State just named their starting quarterback. Lawrence Manna's got his feet wet a little bit, but first-year starter, huge difference going into the defending national champions. Going to watch them get their rings. It's going to be a whole big ordeal. But Manning genes, I think he'll be fine to step right into it and sling it. I think LSU could have been ranked a little bit higher. I think having Garrett Nussmeier returning should definitely be above Alabama with a new quarterback. Week 1, you're going to figure out who deserves to be at the top.
Right. So let's break it down. There's 3 Big Ten teams, 4 SEC teams, 2 ACC, and 1 independent. So we're still, just by a little bit, we're still on the top heavy of SEC. The Big Ten is basically right there. So I think that's pretty interesting. And you guys tell me, why do we think Ohio State was ranked below Penn State? Is it because the new quarterback situation? Because to be honest, I feel like they should be above Penn State.
Ohio State has just recently named their starting quarterback. We knew going in that Penn State had Drew Aller, who was returning, who has experience. If you look up and down these rosters, I give the edge to Penn State. And so does the AP preseason top 25 rankings. If you look at the defensive line of Penn State, these boys are serious and hungry. Ohio State, they have to play Michigan.
Like we said a couple episodes ago, you win the Big Ten or you win your conference. It doesn't matter how easy your schedule is. You're in.
Okay.
That's right.
Great point. Colt, Carson, and Brian, do you think if Ohio State beats Texas, will they move up to that number 2 spot and be number 1 in the Big Ten?
I think if they beat Texas, I think honestly they might move up to number 1 because Texas will obviously have to fall back. And having beating the number 1 team in the country when Penn State obviously doesn't play the number 1 team in the country that week, and that's the only team above them, they have to move to number 1.
Because Penn State's schedule, like I said, Nevada, FIU, Villanova, it's week 4 that they play someone like Oregon that's in the top 10. So if Ohio State comes out big, beats Texas if they can, they got some easy games after that, but I think they move up to number 1. But they got to beat Texas. Carson, do you think they're going to beat Texas?
Really hard to say. It's going to be a great game. It's a 50-50 ball. I really couldn't tell you.
This is what I see happening. I see Texas beating Ohio State. I see Ohio State falling down the rankings. I see Penn State, of course, demolishing and dominating Nevada. Of course, that's an easy blowout win. So you've got Penn State with a big victory. I see Clemson beating LSU. And so I could conceivably see Texas holding on to the number 1 spot, Penn State holding on to the number 2 spot, Clemson moving up into the number 3 spot.
You think Clemson's going to be ranked number 3?
Yeah, I do, because they're ranked number 4 right now, and I clearly see a home victory against LSU.
But let's go down our key games that we should watch this upcoming weekend. Let's talk about the biggest game of that weekend. Are you ready? Michigan State University versus Western Michigan University. People, this is a huge game.
Western Michigan's coming in hot. I think it'll be a great game.
Okay, we all know with Aiden Childs, this technically is his 3rd year, but 2nd year with Michigan State, they're going to blow out Western Michigan University. What do we think is going to happen between Georgia Tech and Colorado? Georgia Tech has, throughout the years, played people pretty hard. Colorado's coming off of that QB that moved into the NFL. We all know Shedeur Sanders. How do we think that matchup is going to be with Georgia Tech and Colorado?
I like Georgia Tech on that one. Georgia Tech over Colorado. Deion Falls.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Yellow Jackets. I'm a big fan of returning quarterbacks. Obviously, Colorado isn't returning a quarterback. Georgia Tech is. Their quarterback led the team in rushing yards last year, if I'm not mistaken. And I think with him on the ground, running and doing everything he can do, and Georgia Tech still has that strong defense, they'll be just fine.
See, I don't ever count out Deion. You can never count Deion Sanders out. He will have his team ready to play. He will ride that emotional charge of coming out onto that field and representing Colorado University. So I don't want to count them out. I think it's going to be a tight game. Give me the Buffaloes.
He's ready to go. That was 1 day ago. It says that he challenged the Colorado players in video ahead of week 1 versus Georgia Tech. So I think Deion Sanders is bringing that hype with his name, the media, kind of playing into Georgia Tech's mind. But I do think Georgia Tech's going to come out. Georgia Tech plays competitors extremely hard. I think Georgia Tech gets that win. So that'll be fun. Okay, let's go. All jokes aside, let's actually go to the biggest game of the kickoff for college football, Texas, Ohio State. My question to you boys is, how long do we think Arch Manning is actually going to stay at Texas? So in college football, all you have to do is stay in for 3 years. So that would bring him into the end of 2026? Do we think Arch Manning is going to stay? And while he's there, do we think he's going to do just as good as what people are saying?
I think he'll stay. I think he's got more on his mind than just going to the NFL. His uncle Peyton was in the Heisman race, and he came back for his senior year. So I think he's got a lot of good mentors leading him in the right direction. I think he'll stay, and I think this year or next year he'll win a national championship. I think he's really got what it takes to be a good quarterback and a great leader as well.
It's too early to answer that question, and here's the reason why, is because the whole Manning family is very intelligent when it comes to football strategy, and they're going to see what NFL teams are at the top of the draft when Arch is ready to come out. And so they want the ideal team setting, the ideal team environment. They want the ideal city for success in the NFL. So it's too early to tell whether or not he'll come back or not. He probably is going to have a great deal of loyalty to Texas. And rightfully, I think he's going to have great success at Texas. He's definitely going to be a Heisman candidate. And so we'll see. Game 1 might be a huge determining factor. Can he handle that staunch defense of Ohio State? Can he read those schematic defenses that Ohio's going to throw at him? Can he manage the pressure of the big stage? Week 1, huge marquee matchup. So it's too early to decide whether or not he's going to stay at Texas or enter the draft. All we have to do right now is focus on Arch Manning 1 week at a time. How's he performing? How's he handling?
This brought up in the media because Arch Manning's grandfather made a comment saying he'll stay through 2026. So that sparked some conversation. Is he already thinking about the NFL draft? Now, Arch Manning did come to the press and say, hey, I'm just taking it day by day. I'm sure he has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but like Brian said, he has a great support system that has been through this years and years. So he has some great people to lean on. Okay, what are we going to say about Ohio State?
Don't leave it up to Jeremiah Smith because they will win if it's up to him. Regardless of new quarterback or what it may be. If you throw it to Jeremiah Smith, you'll be just fine. With them just naming their starting quarterback, I think it does make a few changes. Arch has had all season to get prepared. So I do think Ohio State will be just fine. They will compete.
I would safety spot Jeremiah Smith all night long.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do.
If I'm Texas, that offense makes me nervous. It really does. So Ohio State might just outrun them and outpace them and outscore them.
Yeah.
Shout out Makumba, pick 6. I saw you,
Drafted
kid.
by the Birds.
I saw you, kid.
In preseason.
Turn me up, kid.
He knows.
He's following the huddle report.
Let's go.
Probably is.
Okay, so let's just throw out, since this is the biggest game of college football Saturday, let's just throw out some predictions because I'd love to have some highlights for after the game. Who got as close? Who do we think is going to win? You have to say, and what do you think the score is going to be? Okay, Brian?
I'm going to go with Texas. Give me Texas 38, Ohio State 35.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going to go Texas as well. I got them by a little bit bigger margin. I'll take them 27-10, honestly. 27-17, somewhere in that range.
Okay. Carson?
42-38. Horns. 42-38.
You were all about Texas last year.
Yeah, you were on that bandwagon last year.
Carson was all about Texas last year. Okay, I will be the oddball out. I will say Ohio State, but I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. 21 Ohio State, 17 Texas. I think Ohio State's going to come out with a win. Okay, do we have anything to say about Syracuse, Tennessee? I threw that in.
Honestly, I think Syracuse is going to. Who knows? Who even knows who Tennessee's starting quarterback is now? They just named him the other day, but
Joey Alligera, I think.
Him and Nico actually just switched schools for some reason. I honestly don't know why, but I think Syracuse is going to win that game.
Where's this being played? Is this at Ball Stadium?
Great question. I just had it pulled up.
It doesn't really matter. The Vols versus Syracuse.
Give me the orange.
The orange team's going to win.
I don't really see an upset. Vols take it. I don't see Syracuse coming to Tennessee and really doing anything.
Give me the Tennessee Volunteers. Week 1.
You never know.
Give me good old Rocky Top.
Rocket.
Okay, let's go to one of Brian's teams, as we spoke earlier. Who knows what team he's rooting for? Nevada, Penn State. Penn State is ranked number 2 in the college football rankings. They have what seems to be a clean sweep. Do we think that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, Penn State 100-0.
Yeah, I
Penn
agree with
State
that. Drew Aller's going to
56.
score 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. Penn State 56, Nevada 3.
Okay.
Last second
So-
field goal from Nevada at the end of the game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nevada, Penn State. That's going to be easy. Okay, so let's talk about this. We talked about Florida State. Their first game is Alabama. Now, Alabama does have a junior that will be taking the spot of Jalen Milroe. So it sounds like he might have a little bit of that coaching and mentorship that he received from the senior quarterback that has now moved on to the NFL. But that sounds like really bad news for Florida State, especially if they're wanting to come out strong. First game's Alabama.
I think it's going to be a close game. Two good teams. The Seminoles are back, but they lose to Bama 21-17. I'm not saying they're back, but I think they're going to be better. Like I said, they can't be.
Give me the Tide. Keep rolling.
This is no-brainer.
Alabama's ranked 8th.
Florida State, no.
Not even close.
That is not a great way to start your year off.
When I looked it up, the win probability for Alabama is 82%.
That's actually a little bit lower than I would have thought.
Wow, that was great math, Colt. That was really quick math. 18% Florida State. So, yeah, it's not looking too good.
Good game, though. Good game.
Tide all the way.
Castellanos, new quarterback. He's ready.
Marshall, Georgia. Georgia is when I was doing some research, Kirby Smart has not picked a quarterback yet. So Carson Beck left to go to Miami. Georgia and Miami are both ranked in the top 10, but Georgia has not selected their starting quarterback. They have 4 freshman quarterbacks and 1 redshirt junior.
I think Carson Fields could play quarterback for the Bulldogs, and they would win by 50. So I think he'll be just fine with nobody at quarterback.
All I got to say is feed the dogs. They're hungry. Let them eat. Dogs.
Georgia has a 99.5% probability of winning this game.
There's no need for Kirby Smart to name a starting quarterback right now because he might throw all of his quarterbacks out there and let them play.
Just see,
and let us what value they're bringing in live game situations. So there's no need for him to start. They're going to win no matter who the quarterback is.
That's a great perspective. So when we look at the Penn State, Nevada, Georgia, Marshall games, do we think that these bigger schools are using this as like a preseason game? Not saying it is preseason, but to get their players or to figure out, like the NFL does, they throw those new quarterbacks in to see what they can do. Do we think that Georgia and Penn State will be doing that with these easier games? Or do we think they already know?
Yeah, I would say the only difference is they're going to win. They're looking for a dub.
Right.
They're not going out there and throwing in the 6-3. No, they're putting their dogs out there and letting them eat and chill.
Yeah, you want to rack up these victories against lesser schools because it adds to the resume at the end of the season for the committee to look at. So, yeah, Penn State is going in there with all intentionality to completely blow them out. And Drew Aller might play the first half. He might play the first 3 quarters. But their intention is not to evaluate players that are on the bottom tier of their roster. Their intention is to absolutely obliterate them.
Correct.
So why do we think that he hasn't named a quarterback?
I just think to keep the competition going.
There's no key winner in camp.
So keep the competition up with specifically the quarterbacks.
One of them is going to shine, though, at Marshall, and he might earn the starting quarterback job. So they're all going to go out there with effort and display their best talents and abilities so they can win the starting quarterback job, and one of them will.
I feel like Kirby Smart has a clean slate now that Carson Beck left. He has some really new, impressionable quarterbacks, so who knows? Okay, so let's go back to another one of Brian's teams.
The Tigers.
Wow.
However, Colt, it will be the Tigers of Clemson, South Carolina, my friend. That is correct. They're going to put on display, and they're going to put on notice the rest of the country that Clemson, South Carolina is for real. And you talk about being back? They will be back. They are a top 5 team. They may land themselves in the national championship. Dabo is the coach for the time for these players. Cade Klubnik, ready for a Heisman run. Let's go.
Okay, how about you? Will there be an actual Tiger?
Clemson, what it's going to be like on that night, opening night, as they host LSU? Just complete raucous chaos.
In Clemson.
I'll take Clemson, honestly, 31-17. I think they win, and I think they win by at least 2 scores. Cade Klubnik's for real, I think.
I'm not seeing this shooting star y'all seeing at night. I don't see it. It's not here. It's not over here. I don't know where it is, but it's not here. Clemson is not back. No, they're not back. They're the same old Clemson Tigers team. They'll be decent. They're not beating LSU. I'm going to go very close score. LSU pulls it off. Game-winning field goal. 20 the LSU Tigers.
I'll take
hope you're
Clemson.
right.
33-21.
I
Clemson.
Yeah, I got Clemson. So
They're going to run down that ramp like a bunch of bowling balls and take out those little weenie LSU Tigers. It's going to
So last year, that's right, Carson, this is a great take. A few episodes ago, Carson said SMU had a better record than Clemson with Cape Klubnik.
But
I-
when we get down to it, Clemson's back. But we'll see.
because where's Heisman ranked in the AP preseason
Hey, buddy,
top 25?
we're good.
we're
Where's
13.
Chicago?
We're getting in.
Last year. Beat Clemson in Death Valley, but we won. We're alive. We're chilling. We're cool.
Just check the rankings.
So it
Let's
has
take it.
another losing. Let me see. Did they have a losing season last year?
Hey,
No, there. I don't know. If
5-3. Their record was 5-3.
What do
wait,
you mean
hold
in
on,
the
hold
SEC?
Yeah.
In the SEC.
Brian Kelly's the head coach of LSU.
yeah.
Correct.
His record last year was was 9-4. So if he doesn't have a playoff push with this top ranking in the top 10, do we think he will stay another year at LSU? I think LSU is going to come out and beat Clemson in Clemson's home opener. That's what I think. But do we think if LSU doesn't perform well and gets knocked down week by week off of the rankings, will Brian Kelly be there another year? Because if you think about it, when Joe Burrow won the Heisman and the national championship, they only gave their head coach 2 years and then he was out. Brian Kelly's been there for a while and has done nothing.
I think he's going to be on the hot seat if he's not there. LSU doesn't like to sit back and watch Alabama win. They want to be in the hunt. They want to be in the push. So, yeah, I think he's got to win. But I think that's the mindset with every program, too. Yes, some are more lenient, but I think LSU is always, if you're the coach at LSU, you're always on the hot seat.
If they have a 500 season or they underperform or he can't get out of his players or his quarterback or his top recruits the type of performance that LSU is looking for, he's going to be in trouble. He's a great coach. He'll bounce back if he gets fired from LSU. There'll be programs and universities and colleges lined up to get him to coach their program.
Yeah.
He might be in trouble in LSU unless he delivers.
Yeah. Okay, Notre Dame, Miami. Carson Beck is now in Miami. They have a pretty good matchup with Notre Dame starting the first weekend. What is our take on that?
Notre Dame's always a team that competes. I know Carson Beck is going to try to keep Miami the way it was going last year with Cam Ward, but I just think they come up short. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame too, and I just don't trust Miami. There's a lot of hype around Miami year over year. They just don't deliver.
Notre Dame losing Riley Leonard, losing a few other guys to the draft. I keep going back to the quarterback returning. Yes, Carson Beck isn't returning, but he's been there. He's played in the SEC. I think seeing Notre Dame and ACC schools week in and week out won't be as bad.
You know what separates Notre Dame as an elite program? And that's Ty Willingham as the coach.
Great coach.
He is a fantastic motivator, fantastic communicator, fantastic coach, fantastic rep of the university. This man will deliver, I believe, in big ways. And I see them at the top of the rankings come year end.
I like it.
Okay, the boys team, and apparently Brian, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, game opener. Is it at South Carolina?
It's in Atlanta.
The Gamecocks are going to run out, and then Virginia Tech's going to run out. The clock's going to hit 0 at the end of the game, and everybody's going to look up at the scoreboard, and they're going to be like, wow, Cox really did beat them by 90. It was score 90-3. Give me the Cox, baby.
So funny. Let me look at the predictions. Let's see what that percentage
What,
is.
Heisman starts his march towards the trophy?
Heisman.
One put in front of.
Yeah, I'll take the Gamecocks over the Hokies of Virginia Tech. Not by a lot. I think it's going to be a solid game, but I'll just in support of my boys here, I'll take the game sucks.
Wait, you're wearing that.
I know. I
Gotta
do
rep-
like them,
gotta
and I do
represent.
pull for South Carolina.
Wow.
I like both teams.
Okay, Virginia Tech last year had a losing season. They were 6-7. South Carolina had a winning season of 9-4. So I think South Carolina. I do think they have a lot of steam behind them, where it's going to give them that push. Now, I don't know their schedule and how hard that is, so how long that will last. I do think South Carolina's going to have that big push this year that they've been waiting a long time for.
I think South Carolina will win by a pretty big margin. Shane Beamer's dad was the head coach at Virginia Tech for years and years and made a name for himself. So I think Shane wants to go in there and show Virginia Tech fans, hey, this is what you're missing out on. But I think Carolina will pull away, and I hope the defense can step up. Obviously, the offense will be able to do its thing with the Norris, but if the defense can step up, then Carolina will be just fine.
I do respect Shane Beamer. I think he's a good coach.
All right, so speaking of Virginia Tech, that brings us to our next segment of this episode, which is fan energy and culture. So Virginia Tech comes in, their entrance to Enter Sandman.
Let's
That
go.
is a hype song
Oh, yeah.
that gets the whole stadium going. So, do you guys have some of your tailgate traditions that make college football unique? What are some of your favorite tailgate traditions?
Mine is, I've never been, videos and everything. It's the Grove at Ole Miss, and everyone, a little saying is you dress up to get down. And I think Ole Miss is always rowdy. They always have a good time. So I think that'll be something cool to experience. They also have the Walk of Champions, and it's just cool to experience different things. But I think that's probably one of my favorites.
So it says that in Ole Miss, there's a 10-acre grassy park in the center of the campus that transforms into a sea of tents, chandeliers, silverware, and Southern hospitality. Fans dress up sharp. Think bow ties, sundresses. It's known as the holy grail of tailgating. Yeah.
Since you went Virginia Tech, I'll go South Carolina. They have the Gamecock walk every week at home. They walk through. Everybody can give them high fives and stuff like that. And everybody sets up in the fairgrounds or the armory or the frat lots. And it's just a great community to be around. Everybody loves the Gamecocks, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so Carson, tell us about the Cockaboos Railroad.
Yeah,
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
It says it's a signature South Carolina tailgate spot. Old train that's along the tracks next to the William Bryce has been converted into a luxury tailgating suites. So, do we know the cost of one of those?
Pretty expensive.
Never been in one, and yeah, I've heard they're ridiculous to even get a spot in.
They are cool to look at, and they're right outside the stadium. So it is pretty cool.
Yeah, you can walk right by them
But that's cool.
on the way to the stadium.
So let's just take a guess. How much do we think a Cockaboos Railroad tailgating spot is?
Just for
Once a game or a year?
weekend? I
Just
think it's
a
like
game.
One game?
Or a weekend, whatever
It-
I think you can
it-
sleep in them.
It's got to be around 15 to 20 grand.
Yeah, I was going to say.
40 to 45. And
For
they,
a
and
weekend?
they
Gosh.
sell, it's ChatGPT, so who knows? But it's,
money on it.
It's a good investment.
The
Buy one.
train isn't even worth that much.
yeah, it says they sell out in 48 hours. I know. It's just so weird. when it
I'm
goes
sure everyone
on.
likes to ride a cock.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what's
Whiteout
Penn State,
is.
Happy Valley.
I'm going to say Whiteout is the most fantastic fan experience in college football. There would be nothing possibly like Whiteout at all. That energy and those fans going absolutely crazy. Nothing like that
Awesome.
experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% too. I agree.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be that intimidated with a bunch of people wearing white shirts, but apparently it's a thing. We'll see. Okay. All right. So let's talk about student section energy. Who do we think out of all those game openers, who is going to have the best student section energy?
I hate to say it, but I think the Tigers crowd is going to roll in. I think Clemson's going to be loud. It's going to be really loud.
Yeah.
I would say South Carolina, but we're not at home. We're neutral. So I wouldn't say we're going out there too much, but I would say Clemson's going to be loud.
When they load the buses and circle the stadium, it's nighttime out there. The fans are going crazy. The lights are going crazy. The police escort, they get to the stadium.
For the hill, and they're not playing Sandstorm.
They just come down there like absolute savages. They're just running like barbarians out of the gates. They're knocking heads off. They don't care. They're tackling referees. Let's go.
What do we think about the jump around at Wisconsin? Jump
Awesome.
around.
Solid.
That's
That's
great.
solid.
Yeah,
That's a good one,
yeah.
too.
College energy is just electric. When you watch the games, when you wake up at 9, Carson, or you wake up at 2 to sit for college game day, to wait for them to come out, you have your coffee, football's on Saturday, you're there for 13 hours. You just can't understand how amazing that is.
It's definitely something that you have to experience for yourself. You cannot put into words what game day was. Colt, break it down a little bit more.
I've been lucky enough to go to 2 college game days. I went to one 2 years ago when South Carolina played North Carolina in Charlotte, and that one was lovely. It was downtown Charlotte. It was beautiful. Then we come to LSU, South Carolina, and we got out there at like midnight the night before, and we're sitting in our lawn chairs eating a sub and just hanging out. And then people start climbing the towers and pouring beer down their pants and doing everything under the moon. And then they're not supposed to open the gate till 5 or 6. Somehow at 4 o'clock, somebody screams they're opening the gates, and security guards are on the ground and the gates are busted through, and we're
My
in the
gosh.
pits. And
you're
jumping over
hurdling
people, and people are laying on the ground. There's phones, wallets, keys, shoes, hair on the ground. It's everything you can imagine.
So
It's a feeling. It's an adrenaline rush that I've never felt before. I'll never feel
No.
again, probably.
It's
It's
a
an
mosh.
adrenaline
Yeah.
Scary.
when you're pumping out.
Did you sleep
No.
out?
We
Right.
sat in our lawn chair from 12 a.m. that night till the game started. We walked across the stadium till the game
My
was from
goodness.
12 to 4 or whatever.
wow.
I think we stayed for 38 hours or something like that.
Who has the better student section, Carolina or Clemson?
Carolina, 100%.
Yeah.
The
Carolina.
cockpit, it gets rowdy. It's crazy. It's insane.
So Brian and I went to a Clemson game 2 years
I did not
ago.
see you at the cockpit.
Front row.
I feel like they could have been a little bit more creative with their name, but you know what? Everybody loves Cox. Let's talk about who is going to be the biggest upset out of those games that we talked about. Who is one big upset for that weekend?
I don't see an upset. I see a clean sweep for everybody. How it's marked in the books. I see it just rolling out how it's supposed to be.
I think Florida State will beat Alabama. That'll be my hot take. That'll be my upset.
Ooh.
But I do want to say, before we get all the way into the upsets, one of my favorite traditions in college football is at Iowa, where they turn around at the end of the first quarter and wave to the Children's Hospital. I think it's awesome. I
Yes.
think it's really cool. Just can't leave them out because it's a cool tradition. But give me the
Yes.
Seminoles over the Crimson Tide week 1.
Wow. That is bold. That's reckless.
Well, that's blasphemy. Roll Tide.
That's
Yes, what Colt said, Iowa, everyone facing the Children's Hospital. So if you don't know about the Iowa Stadium, that it is surrounded by the Children's Hospital. And the Children's Hospital, they have a wraparound window where everyone in the crowd in the stadium looks up and waves, and children that are sick, having treatment, get to wave out and see that and be a part of it. So that is huge. That just makes college football, the heart and the people, really what it is and what they're giving. So yeah, that's amazing. I think LSU is going to beat Clemson.
Good.
That's
I like it.
I'm cheering for it. I hope so.
Okay, anything else?
Go.
Bullies. All right, everyone. It's not just football, it's Saturday traditions. This is going to be released right before the kickoff on Saturday for college football. So listen to our hot takes. See if we're right, see if we're wrong. Comment down below what you think is going to happen the first week. That's a wrap on this week's kickoff countdown, and the real action is just hours, days away. The rivalries, the underdogs, the jaw-dropping plays, they're all waiting for us under those Saturday lights. You're in the stands, on the couch, or huddled around the tailgate radio, remember, college football isn't just a game. It's a tradition, it's a heartbeat, and the start of memories we'll be talking about all season long. So grab your snacks, grab your friends, and clear your schedule because the next time we meet, the scoreboard will be lit up, the highlights will be rolling, and the chaos will have begun. Saturday's just coming. It's here. Play ball.